Welcome to the Songwriter Connection podcast, where we look at the craft of songwriting through the eyes of the songwriter. Each week, we make a connection with a music maker, listen to their songs, and hear their stories. From Nashville, Tennessee, here's your host, Dave Lenihan.
Well, it's so good to be back with you. We appreciate you listening, and thanks for the download. Be sure if you're listening on YouTube to like and subscribe. You know how that goes. We've got an amazing guest with an amazing story to share with you today. You know, we're all about the stories on this podcast, the stories behind the songs, but also the journey of our artists and our songwriters. And she's pretty amazing. But first, let me tell you about Mark Allen Barnett Tours, one of our local sponsors. Just spent some time with Mark down in Alabama, L.A., Lower Alabama. This past week was the Frank Brown Songwriter Festival, and we went down to enjoy that and saw some great rounds and watched Mark do his thing. He's got about the biggest heart of anybody I've ever met. You know, like he made sure at the show to do a song that we co-wrote. I didn't have to do that, but that's the kind of guy he is. He's always helping songwriters in this community, and he's giving back all the time. And his tours are pretty amazing. Even when we were at Frank Brown, we had breakfast one morning, and he brought along an upcoming songwriter, and we were giving tips to her and trying to help her out. But that's the kind of guy he is. So the Mark Allen Barnett Tours, if you are new to songwriting, even if you're not, if you want to up your game, Mark will show you how to do that performing wise, but also how to write better songs. He'll introduce you to people in the industry. He'll take you around. Guy's a pretty amazing guy, not only talent wise, but his passion is for teaching and passing it along. So check out markallenbarnett.com. It's ALAN. Barnett is barn and then ETTE. And remember that you don't choose music chooses you, right? Isn't that right? Rhonda Funk is my guest. How are you, Rhonda? You can talk.
I'm doing good. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I love Mark, by the way. The first
guy.
time I ever saw him, he was in Gatlinburg. Let's say I was in Gatlinburg and he was already there. They were, it was the, is it called the Smoky Mountain Songwriters Festival?
It was, and now it's just the Gatlinburg Songwriters
Yeah, this
Festival.
is right before, the COVID stuff where they had to
Yes.
stop doing it and, all
Yes.
that. Obviously, there's other things that made it not happen. But that to say, I remember sitting in awe of Mark, to be honest.
He knows how to perform, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Well, I want to talk about you. I know you've got an amazing story. Moved to Nashville in 2018. I think that's when I first met you, probably in the listening room somewhere with Billy Lee,
Yes.
my brother Billy. And it just seems like here you are 4 years into a 10-year town, and you're Entertainer of the Year from the ISSA, which is the International Singer-Songwriters Association, that you just won in this past year. That's incredible. Plus, 120,000 miles performing, doing what you do. That's an incredible testament to you as an artist. And I am just so proud and happy to have you on the show.
Thank you. I don't know why that actually instantly made me tear up because to hear you say that I'm 4 years into a 10-year town but it was a year and a half or not even 2 years when I actually got offered a record deal with that independent
Isn't that
label
incredible?
with Peer Music Nashville.
And I watched you, I think it was live on Facebook Live the day that you were offered that contract. It was amazing. And I could see it in your face. You were just so
Overwhelming.
Yeah.
Overwhelming. I felt like, this kind of ship doesn't come around for a girl like me this often. And it was a great leg up and a huge increase in what I was doing.
To what you do, everything you do, and your personality and your talent. So, listen, I want to start with the music right away, and this is one of your new songs called "More Than a Table."
Yes.
Maybe you can tell us a little bit about it, and we'll play that so people can hear what you're all about.
You want to hear the backstory?
Yeah, can you?
Yeah.
Or you want to do it after we play it? It's up to you.
I think
Set it up.
I think it's funnier and better to do it here and now because it's always nice to know the story.
Set it up.
So don't tell my mom, but I was on a dating site once, and this guy had a picture of a table. Now I hadn't met this guy, but this table was awesome. And my roommate Carrie and we didn't have a table, so my profile said, "If I like you, I'll write a song about you. If we don't work out, I'll write 10." And the guy, I said, "Hey, that's a nice table." He goes, "You write me a song, I'll make you a table." Winky face, hearty face emoji, all this stuff. And so I was like, "Oh man, don't you mess with me, boy, because I'm writing that song right now. It's called More Than a Table." And so he's like, hearty face, whatever. I'll make it. I'm like, next morning, I get up, I sit up in bed, I write this song in 12 minutes.
Oh my.
I go running out to my roommate and I'm like, "We're going to get a table." And
that's great.
And she's like, "Really?" And I sing this song to her. So I'm laughing inside, right? I play this song and I look up and she is bawling her eyeballs out. And all of a sudden I realized what I had done, and I started crying. And I thought, oh my God, this is a great song.
The power of a song, girl.
Yeah. So I never got this song. I never got the table. I got the song and never got the table. But the record label loved this song. They released it on my birthday that year. And it was my first song to ever get 100,000 streams on Spotify.
Wow.
So
and that's a big accomplishment. Wow. Congratulations on that. Well, let's spin it because this is a cool song.
Thank you.
12 minutes. Wow. Rhonda Funk, our guest on the Songwriter Connection podcast.
He disappeared into that shed. Said he needed to clear his head. He'd be gone for hours till the moon came out. I could hear him sawing boards and pounding nails. Couldn't see what it was, but he worked like hell. And I'd make him dinner and set it out on a rickety table that was broken down, scratched up and scarred, chairs falling apart. Until that day I walked in and he was sitting down on a brand new table, old barnwood. He said it's strong and sturdy and his chairs are good. It's not perfect, but neither am I. But it'll be in this room till the day you die, just like me the rest of my life. If he could only see when he made that for me, he built more than a table. At the meal I sat there in that chair, rubbed my hand across it and I just stared at his craftsmanship and the job he did. How he paid attention to all details, smoothed out every edge without fail. And I wanted more because of what he did. That silent love of that gift said more words than anything he could ever say. With a brand new table, old barnwood, he said it's strong and sturdy and his chairs are good. It's not perfect, but neither am I. Then it'll be in this room till the day you die, just like me the rest of my life. If he could only see when he made that for me, he built more than a table. Took me by the hand, asked me to make him a happy man. Then he slid that box across that tabletop. It was a brand new table, old barnwood. He said it's strong and sturdy and his chairs are good. It's not perfect, but neither am I. It'll be in this room till the day die, just like me the rest of my life. If he could only see when he made that for me, he built more than a table. He built more than a table. He built more than a table.
Yes, he did, didn't he?
Yeah,
Rhonda Funk. That's a cool song, Rhonda.
Thank you.
You wrote it all by yourself in 12 minutes. Crazy.
I know. Can you believe that?
And now we know, because they say, a way to a man's heart is through his stomach. I guess a way to a woman's heart is a table that you make. No, just kidding.
Yeah. No, it turned out perfect. My daddy's a contractor. And so I don't know. I think it just naturally just came out about building something. You just think about that.
Yeah.
That beautiful piece that somebody, I can't do much for you, but I built you this.
Yes, that's a gift from the heart. I think those are the best. So somebody owes you a table out there, right?
Gosh dang it, I gotta go. sucker.
Yeah, I know. All right. Right.
Yeah, that's okay.
Well, Rhonda, it's good to have you here. And I know a little bit later on we're going to play with your Breed of Love guitar. They're your sponsors.
Yeah.
Around our dining room table, the Duncan Fife, and that's what we're kind of known for here on this podcast. So we look forward to hearing some of your music live, so to speak.
Thank you.
So, yeah, good to have you here. Thanks for coming.
I'm just honored to be here. Like, I can't believe that I get to do this with you today. So thank you.
I can't believe 120,000 miles in the last year performing.
Don't tell my insurance agent. He's going to freak out. He thinks I
We'll keep it from them.
He thinks I do 13,000 a year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I literally thought I would go in to get my oil changed every 3 weeks, synthetic oil.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, how come I didn't get a punch card for this? Like, shouldn't it be like buy 10 and get one free? I literally told them, I go to Christian Brothers in Mount Juliet is where I've been going. And I was like, hey, you guys, all your other people, they only come like 2 or 3 times a year. So
Yeah.
do you think I should get something extra, like a candy bar? Yeah, something.
Little something. Maybe they could be your sponsor, our next sponsor, right?
There you go. That'd be awesome.
That would be great. Yeah. Well, you really do it all. And let's just talk about how it all started for me. Your story is absolutely incredible. Just a year or so before you moved to Nashville, you had a life-changing experience, didn't you?
I sure did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had been in marketing and PR at the time. I had a small company, and I was sitting with a client at a table, and I had just announced I wanted to make a country album. I had 3 Christian albums, independent, that I had done leading up until then, and I was like, you know what? I think it's time for me to branch out. My kids are growing up, and I think I'm kind of coming back around to music, and I'd like to do this country album. And 2 weeks later, I was sitting with my client about to go over some campaign with her, and I was about to tell her my great big ideas, and all of a sudden, my words all came out crazy. Some of the words the back ends went to the fronts. Words were coming out I wasn't trying to say, and I was looking around the room like, what is going on? And I looked at her, and she said, I asked her if I was making sense, and she goes, I think so. And I was totally having a stroke.
Oh my goodness.
So I didn't know. I literally went next door to a coffee shop. I still went to another meeting, and I kept apologizing for stuttering. And everybody was like, can we call 911? I said, if I fall out of this chair, we can call 911, but I'm fine. I'm pretty sure I stuttered when I said that.
God.
And that night, I ended up in the ER just to make everybody be quiet because they were all freaking out.
Oh, man.
And the doctor was about to let me go. He said, yeah, we think you're having a migraine event, and we can give you some medicine and send you home. And I said, okay, great. And he said, however, I'm not willing to risk your future on it. So could you do an MRI? And well, good thing I did, because they found an inch-size aneurysm in my head. And so that night, basically, the doctor said, he was going to bring a team in the morning to look at it, try to look at it, see what we were going to do and what I had going on. And I said, what if I don't what if this thing ruptures in the middle of the night? Like, why would I wait? Why can't we do it right now? And he goes, Rhonda, do you want my A team or my B team? And I said, fine, I'll take your A team. And he said, I said, what if it ruptures? He goes, you're going to die. And that was
Just
it.
like that?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So 4 days later, I had a brain surgery where they were able to put a coil on my head. It was very non-invasive. The doctor said later, about 3 months later, he goes, I never should have been able to do that surgery.
Wow.
They put a stent in your heart, they go up through the arteries, whatever. They navigated all the way to this tiny little spot in my brain, put this coil, I call it silly string.
Silly string.
Yeah, and saved my life. So 48 hours later, I was at home. It was quite a recovery process. I had a lot of brain trauma stuff. I couldn't be around lights or TV. And I like to tell everybody that I think it's great because I was really focused on so much work and non-musical stuff and all this. I was still being creative and things, but I was stressing out about all these different things. And it's almost like God killed off that technical side of my brain and brought back the creative side. So since then, I've written over 200 songs.
200 songs.
Yeah, they might not all be good ones, but I've written them.
Hey, we've talked about that in the past. Sometimes you got to write the bad ones to get to the good ones, right?
Yeah.
The fact that you're doing it, that's just absolutely amazing. So it was a real wake-up call for you, huh?
Huge. I feel like I've always been this driven, and it's not that it changed my attitude. I was just like, I got nothing to lose. I mean, it really took away the fear factor for me. Like, hey, if that couldn't kill me, neither can you. So let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Give you a whole new strength. So
hashtag let's go.
You kind of even almost look at it as a gift as you look back, don't you?
Oh, it's very much a gift.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
That is such a story.
Yeah.
What kind of songs came out of that experience?
Well, a lot. I feel like immediately everything was kind of thinking about family and kids and stuff, like heart songs, like I have Too Close to Home on my Someday album. There's a lot of songs in there about losing somebody or stuff, or just you start to really think about what's really important. Of course I wrote some sassy ones and did some stuff. It was my first time being a non-Christian artist, so I used the word damn a lot in songs. Like, oh, woo, this is fun. Yeah.
Put that D word in there. Yeah. Now, you've got a lot of records out there, and I was just on Spotify that we played that first song, but you're everywhere. And how many records do you have out there right
I have
now?
5 total.
5.
Yeah.
And right now you're recording for a label. It's, what they call?
Well, actually, that record deal is over.
It's over.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And all under great terms.
Oh,
It was
okay.
just, COVID-y and, whatever.
Yeah.
And we went it as far as we could go with that one.
What a cool thing to do during
yeah.
COVID. What did you
Yeah.
do during COVID? I recorded an album when I signed a record
I did.
contract.
I did. I went.
It's crazy. It's good.
I did not stop. I was like, I don't care, COVID.
Wow.
You're not stopping me. I'm not going to get this chance again. So,
Wow.
But yeah, thanks to Pure Music Nashville and John Heighthouse and the team there that helped me release that last album. It was awesome.
Fantastic.
But now, I actually work a full-time job. I came off the road because I was so tired. I mean, I could hardly lift my arms to touch my steering wheel and brush my teeth. I was in tears and my health was having issues. And so exactly a year ago now, I came off the road.
Yeah.
And I work at a functional medicine clinic in Franklin, Tennessee. And I work full time, but I still do music. And
Yes, you do.
Now I'm like, okay, God, I'm not done. And I literally feel like in 2018, after I'd gone through that brain surgery stuff, I came here 6 months later. I recorded my
6 months. Wow.
Yeah. Do you want to hear the craziest of
Yeah,
stories?
absolutely.
This is an amazing story. Several years ago in my marketing and PR company, I was coming here. I really didn't have any money. It was literally just, the publishing company getting me here with an author, and I was going to national religious broadcasters at the Gaylord, going to this great big, thing, pitching my authors, trying to get them on TV and radio and all that.
Awesome.
And, the first time I came, I didn't have $1. Like I couldn't leave the hotel to come downtown. I did not one Nashville thing. So here I was in Nashville for the first time, and I wasn't doing music. But I remember when the plane was landing, the pilot says, "Ding dong, welcome to Nashville."
Yeah.
I was asleep, and I sat up and I saw us break through the clouds, and tears just started pouring out of my eyes. And I wasn't crying, Dave. I mean, I can't really explain it. It's like tears just started gushing out, and I was laughing at the person next to me going, I'm not crying. Why am I crying? I'm not crying. Why am I crying?
Allergies. Right?
Yes. Yeah. Oh,
Sure.
That really might be it now that I know.
No, I know. Wow.
So when the plane left, same thing happened, right? Next year, I come back again. I literally made 2 hours in between dropping the car off at the airport that I was going to drive downtown. Someone said to go to Printer's Alley. So I went down, I think it was 4th and Church. There's a coffee shop down there. Whatever happened, I parked my car, got a coffee, and I came out on the corner. And all of a sudden I looked down and I saw the Nashville One building, and I was like kind of looking up and down. I didn't know where Music Row was. I had no idea it was a few blocks from Broadway. I had no idea where I was in town.
Yeah.
I lost it. And I was crying. And I said, I am recording a country album someday in Nashville. I am recording a country album someday in Nashville. And I went home and I said that for 6 years. Okay.
Wow.
Fast forward. I had my brain surgery, and I'm like, I had just said I was going to make this album. I had all these other albums, and they had these one word titles, Refined, and there's The Waiting, and, whatever. And so I already had picked the name for my album, and I hadn't really thought through it until all of a sudden I was 2 days packing my bags, coming to Nashville, and I realized after 6 years of saying, I'm going to record a country album someday in Nashville. Dave, the dang album was called Someday. I had written a duet like 3 years before, and it was so beautiful. I thought, I'm going to name this the Someday. That's a cool name for an album.
And it is. It's a cool song.
And so there I was, standing outside of Omni Sound Studios, about to record a country album someday.
That's a good studio, too.
Yeah.
Is that the one with AJ Cross?
That's the one. That's the one, and that's my first.
Voice.
That was my first song that ever won an award.
Hey, that's out there. Go to Spotify, Rhonda Funk, and you'll see that. Yeah,
it's a good song.
How about we play one now? Pick up that Breed Love. Let's hear you live around the dining room. What a story, Rhonda. So good to have you. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Yeah,
you're such an inspiration. You really are.
Oh, thank you. I keep entering or just looking at publisher pitches and different things, because as somebody who doesn't have a pitch, or I don't have a publishing deal, I have to find ways. How is somebody going to hear these songs that I write? But then I look at them and I get all wide-eyed and bushy-tailed. I'm like, how can I write a song for that person? So
that's cool.
There's a Trisha Yearwood pitch that was out there, and I was like, what would I send to Trisha?
Yeah.
And so I decided to write a song, and I don't know if she would do this one, but
well, Trisha, if you and your people are listening, here you go.
Hi, Trisha.
We love you.
There's no sky like the Tennessee night. Nothing shines brighter than the moon in your eyes. 300 miles from that Georgia farm where I was born, but I don't live there anymore, no, 'cause I'm home, wrapped in your loving arms, home. You're where I belong, home. The stars are falling and so am I. Lord knows I've waited my whole life. Something tells me those days of being alone are over tonight, 'cause I finally made it home, wrapped in your loving arms, home. You're where I belong, I'm home. No one has ever held me quite like this. You can take me anywhere, because your kiss is home. Home. Yes, I'm home, wrapped in your loving arms, home. You're where I belong, I'm home.
Wow. Rhonda Funk, that's a pretty song.
Thank you.
I can hear Trisha singing that.
That's pretty. I think I could hear her and Garth singing it together.
Yeah.
I just pitched it as a duet.
I think that would be fantastic.
You never know.
All the best with that.
Yeah.
Let's take a little break. We're coming back with Rhonda Funk.
You're listening to the Songwriter Connection, connecting with music makers and hearing their songs and stories. Now back to the show with your host, Dave Linehan.
We are connecting with an amazing artist and songwriter, Rhonda Funk. She was the 2022 USA Female Songwriter of the Year and also Entertainer of the Year from the ISSA. That's quite an accomplishment there.
Thank you so much.
Man.
Yeah, it has been quite a journey. I was nominated for Vocalist of the
Oh,
Year.
you're nominated?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
So I just want to clarify that.
Please do, yeah.
But yes, I won a silver last year for Entertainer of the Year. And I'm like, I want that thing so bad. Just want to win a gold.
I would think 120,000 miles singing your songs has got to count for something.
Well,
sounds gold to me.
Hopefully. I'm really in it for the Grammy. Like I feel like God said, go pursue the dream.
Well, now that you mention that, you got nominated for a Grammy. You were in the consideration, right?
Under consideration, yeah.
Right.
And so, in the grand scheme of things, there's somebody out there in the industry, they're like, that's not that big of a deal. But there was 214 names on that ballot, and I was one of them.
How about that?
And so in the Grammys, I was considered for a nomination. So I thought that's
some validation there. I would think,
incredible, because I think it's a hard process to get there. And
sure.
so that was really
Sure it is.
It's like there's party that goes, okay, I'm done now. I can die now. I made the Grammy ballot. But here's the thing: nobody took a picture of it. I wasn't nominated. I couldn't look at the ballot because I didn't get one, right? I wasn't a voting member. Not one of my friends took a picture of it. So it's basically like saying I caught a fish this big and nobody believes me. But it's out there.
No, I understand. I had a song with Melissa Lee and Claudette King. I mean, she's recorded one of your songs too.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. And it got consideration for a Dove Award, and I felt the same way. Some people think, well, that's, you know. But when I saw the list of all the people that I'm like, we don't have a chance. There's Vince Gill.
I know, but your name was right on there with Vince Gill, and and how many other thousands and thousands of people applied and didn't get it? So
exactly, it's validation
it's
for what you do.
Very huge, huge leg up, and it you know what it is? It's a plant of a seed that you're on that thing. You can do it again. Yeah. You could do it again and again until you get it. Yeah.
And so can you.
Thank you.
Keep writing and everything. That is so cool. I'm just looking over this stuff. You also had a Christmas, because this is the Christmas season too.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that Claudette King. That was Claudette and T. Graham Brown.
Yes.
And I'll tell you what, he's always been one of my favorite singers.
I love him.
What a voice. And Claudette, who was the daughter of B.B. King.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The B.B. King.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. This was hysterical. It's not hysterical. I have so many stories it hurts. Like, can we have a part 2?
Yeah,
like,
please do. No, absolutely.
I had just, this is before I got my record deal, and I had a little bit of a wildfire. I'm going to get out there. I went 10,000 miles. I was on my way back to Nashville, and I was kind of all over the board, like, ooh, maybe I should move to Texas. Ooh, maybe I should go here. I feel like God was like, oh dear God, take her car away, because she's just reel her in. I got rear-ended in Mississippi at 85 miles an hour.
Are you kidding?
No. Absolutely. I don't know how I stayed on the road. The guy hit me from behind because a truck tire came off in front of me, was rolling right at me.
Oh my.
Got hit really hard. So I come back to Nashville. Now, I had just booked, my agent had booked me 15 shows in 7 states, and I was quitting. I was quitting my job. I was just going to do music. I was just getting all this stuff rolling. I killed my apartment lease, so I was supposed to move out that week. I had no job when I came back, but now I had no car. And I had no money. Like, I already got a car towed since I moved here. I was driving nothing, and somebody helped me get into a car, and it got hit and ruined. And so I come in, I'm hurting everywhere. This is 4 days after getting hit at 85 miles an hour. Wow. I'm sitting with Corey Lee Barker and Claire Cunningham.
He's a great artist. He's a great writer.
Yeah.
And Claire is amazing. Oh my gosh, love her.
Best.
Irish girl too.
That's my favorite.
Her.
She's a Lee.
Yeah,
we
she's
did
awesome.
Irish. Yeah. Mr. Christmas. This, we're going to write a song with Mr. Christmas, Corey. And we were writing the dumbest Christmas song you'd ever heard. I'm not even going to bring up what we were writing about. We're about a half an hour in there, and I'm like, guys. And I was so distracted. I hurt. I had tears in my eyes. And I go, guys. And they're like, what? And I said, this is the dumbest song we probably ever have written. And the thing is that it's sassy, and no radio station is ever going to play this. Only Claire and I will be able to pull this off on a stage, and it's only going to be YouTube friendly. Okay, so nobody's going to sing this song. I know you're going, what were you writing? You're probably wondering that.
I am.
But I said, you guys know what I need? And now I'm almost crying. And they're like, what? And I go, money. So I said, can we please write a good song?
So it's going to make me some green.
And literally, we changed gears at that minute, and all of a sudden we wrote this Holiday With You song. And Corey's label that he was, the publisher that he was writing for came in, and they have Claudette. And so her eyes got really big, and she's like, man, we love this song. And all of a sudden, all I know, I get a video from T. Graham Brown going, hi, Rhonda, it's your good friend T. Graham here. We're in the studio. We're cutting your song today. And I was like, oh my God. I screamed for
That's awesome.
20 minutes.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this song did very well for you, didn't it?
Yeah, it's great. But I recorded it this last year with Chris Garner, one of my favorites. Chris, the Garner family is my family.
Oh, yeah.
He's so fantastic. So we've just released it this year.
Awesome. Very good. And it's out now. We publish this episode December the 14th. So want a little extra Christmas cheer in your family?
Go get it. Holiday
Rhonda
with
Funk.
You. Yeah.
Holiday with You from Rhonda Funk and Chris Garner.
Yeah.
Chris runs a little writer's night too in Mount Juliet that we've been over to Cats over there.
Yep.
And that's pretty good. He's a very talented guy. So.
Yep. I've played there many times.
Cool. Congratulations on that song.
Thank you.
What I really want to dive in with you when we come after you play this next song is I want to talk about DIY artists and how great you are at promoting yourself and how it all works. And we always like to have a little instruction for folks. And there may be artists and songwriters out there that want to know how to do that and maybe follow your example because You really have done well with that, Ron. I'm just so proud of how far you've come in what you do, and I want to get inside your head and figure out how it's done.
Yeah.
You know, so maybe you can give us some hits and some tips and things. So, but I'd like to hear another song. You got that free to live out?
That I could do.
Yeah.
About a week and a half ago, I met a gentleman named Jim Carter from Canada, and he runs a nonprofit called Bank, and it's a big fundraiser for community. So they use huge artists to come in, and every show you pay a ton of money for the ticket, and it goes directly to benefit local charities. So the last person that was on their tour was Emmylou Harris.
Wow.
So Emmy's band is playing with Jim, and Jim's here in town recording. He saw me singing, and he brought me into the studio last weekend, and he said, get in there. And they cut some of this track for me. So this song's going to be coming eventually here. It's
Awesome.
called Birmingham.
And we get to hear it first.
Yeah, that's right. I wrote it with Mark Addison Chandler. So.
Awesome.
My tank's on E, I need caffeine, and I just passed Tallahassee. Between the fog, the cats and dogs, these blades can't keep the glass clean. But no hurricane can keep these wheels from rolling. And I ain't breaking till my heart's at home in Birmingham. I drive all night to hold you, my burden's in. When I fall into your shoulder, when I kill these lights at the end of your drive, feed this fire burning in my mind. Oh, Birmingham, oh my Birmingham. Too many moons and hotel rooms make for a lonely traveler. So I'm counting down 5 more hours till I finally get to have you in my arms. Boy, I need to love you. So I'm chasing daybreak, hell-bent to beat the sun to Birmingham. I drive all night to hold you, my burden's in. When I fall into your shoulders, when I kill these lights at the end of your drive, feed this fire burning in my mind. Birmingham, oh my Birmingham, oh my Birmingham. Birmingham, I drive all night to hold you, my burden's in. When I fall into your shoulders, when I kill these lights at the end of your drive, feed this fire burning in my mind. Birmingham, oh my Birmingham, Birmingham, I drive all night to hold you, my burden's in. When I fall into your shoulders, when I kill these lights at the end of your drive, feed this fire burning in my mind. Birmingham, my Birmingham, oh my Birmingham, oh my Birmingham.
What an incredible voice. It's Rhonda
Thank you.
Funk. I've seen you compared to Randy Carlisle, who's one of my favorite singers.
Oh, I love
Lucinda Williams and Melissa Etheridge, because you get that little rasp
Yeah.
in your voice. But it's so powerful, and you've got a
you.
range.
The record label said if country music and Melissa had a baby, Melissa Etheridge had a baby, it'd be me. Like, I'm a little bit of that.
That's gonna feel good to be compared
Yeah.
to that kind of company.
Oh, my
Yeah.
goodness.
But I think you're your own thing. I really do.
Thank you.
Yeah, you've really grown as an artist. And by the way, you've got a great webpage, and I want people to visit it. It's
Rhonda Funk Music. .com. Yeah, that's
And this is a website you designed yourself, huh?
I did. I mean,
That
it's
is
nothing really,
cool.
really fancy, but I used to do marketing PR for. We were talking about this about me helping authors and speakers, and people would have these like not very nice things. They just didn't look good, right?
Yeah.
So you want to come out and present like you're a great author or a great musician or do whatever, and then you have shady, pictures. There's got all this stuff in the background or something. It just doesn't look nice. Your hair's a mess. Things are all over.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what, guys? You don't have to spend that much money to make something nice. You just I hate to use the words, but you fake it till you make it, right? Like you just look as good as you can with everything that you do. Compare yourself, like look at your website and then look at that website over there. And if it's nowhere near that, so it's not great. Like I could do better. Like I think I can have more. But
I was
it's like,
impressed when I saw
think
it.
it's a
Beautiful.
really beautiful website, and
did
it's
too.
really easy to use. And,
Yeah. So I wanted to focus in on that the DIY artist, which is the thing today. We've always talked about the double-edged sword of streaming versus hard copy, and how it's changed the industry. But the other side of that story is there's a lot more opportunities for the independent artist today. People are making it, not signing a major record label deal. And in some cases, they're making more money than people that have the big record deals because they're getting out there doing it themselves. And that's what you've done. You're doing it yourself.
I am doing it myself.
Yeah.
And there's stuff that I'm not doing right now that I know I need to do, but I've been a little bit buried, and I think I don't have my priorities straight sometimes. So I have to sit back and say, hey, what am I trying to accomplish and why? And that's the phase I'm in right now because I do work full time. So when do you do all this stuff?
Right.
But the thing is that a really good singer songwriter or just artist in general that is got a great following. They're good. People keep asking them back. You're making a little bit of money. If you had merchandise, which I haven't had, I think I could have made bank if I would have had that. There's little things that I even know that I needed to have, but when you stay consistent, and you just keep showing up, but you keep on top of your social media and you do all those little things, you can make more money than you'd make if somebody else paid you to do a label. You're kind of under their control. Like you could really have a great, comfortable future if you had merchandise, if you stayed booked, maybe pay a booking agent to book you some stuff and keep you rolling.
So there's people out there in industry like, well, doesn't it take money to have merch? Well, aren't there people that do it on order, right? So,
there are those things too. Yeah, that you could just pop it on your website and start somewhere. Then you don't have to carry a bunch of product, but you do eventually want to get to that. And we were talking about this sign that I made for myself.
Yes.
I was on the road for 18 months, and about 12 months in, so let's say a whole year went by where I was suffering. I'm that classic story. When I left Oregon in 2018, I had less than $700 in my wallet, and somehow I drove across the country, and I swear to God, I still have less than $700 in my wallet, but I have an apartment now, I have a car that works, I have things and furniture and stuff that I didn't have before because I gave all that up, but I didn't have enough money to buy merch, and I didn't have enough money to put this little sign up. I knew I needed it. I know what my marketing head for what I do for other people. I knew I needed it. Just a pop-up little sign that you put behind your stage, and you put a little light on there, and it just looks like you're $1 million and whatever. But it had QR codes on there, right?
Yes.
So
they're so important, folks.
Yes,
so important.
I didn't have that $117 to order the darn sign, and finally, 12 months in, I'm like, I'm just spending the money this week. I'm going to do it. Made the sign, got it delivered to me. It was there in 5 days. And that week I made $500 off that stinking sign because it had the QR codes on there. People didn't have cash, and they constantly were walking by. It got me a whole bunch of followers. People are snapping pictures in front of there, doing whatever. And holy cow, hindsight.
Yeah.
I mean, I was suffering. I left so much money on the table because of that little piece.
Those are great, those pop-up signs. And I'll tell you one place, Canva has them.
Yeah.
And like you said, 100 or so bucks, and it's a great investment. Not only for the QR code, but there's your name right there.
Oh, everything. You put your website on there. You took a picture. Nobody will ever know this, and I probably shouldn't tell this, but if we're talking DIY, that's if you ever see my sign, it's on my stuff. It's a selfie.
Yeah.
It was literally a selfie.
It's a selfie.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
It was
Yeah.
just good lighting. I had on this cute outfit that my friend had loaned me for this Margaritaville hotel shoot that I was doing. And I just blew that sucker up. I popped it onto the sign. I slapped on the QR codes and put my website, and poof. There's
It's
the sign.
incredible. You know, in fact, if it's funny you say that. The picture I have, that's the logo for Songwriter Connection podcast that you see everywhere. That was shot by Liz Kill going around. We did, I think, at Maxwell House. She shot that, and I went, you made me look good. How'd you do that? So that's become my thing, you know. So
you just need something simple. It doesn't take a whole bunch of money to go get. Just have somebody take a picture or two, to take the background out.
Well,
and,
you know,
yeah.
And while you're saying that, you talked about working the socials, and I don't think anybody does it better than you. I've told you this before.
Thank you.
You pop on at all times, and you do the Facebook Live and Instagram, and you keep your fans abreast of what you're doing, and I think it's really cool, and that's needed, isn't it?
Yeah. You know what is amazing about saying that? Before I ever moved to Nashville, I was doing live feeds all the time, singing some of my songs. Then I did come to town just the very first couple months. I hadn't even really got out there yet, but I was back and forth to Oregon still. And I went to that first Gatlinburg Songwriter Fest. Yeah. And there was a whole bunch of people in there that knew who I was.
Really?
I didn't know them yet, right? But I had followed them. I went from, 1,200 followers maybe in my Facebook World Life, or, maybe less, to all of a sudden 4,000 or 5,000 people. I'm like following everybody, getting connected and doing stuff. I'm doing all these live feeds, and we were being silly. It was my roommate Carrie and I, we were being dumb, or I would go on and sing songs all the time. And I walked in there and I would go up to these people. I'd be like, "Hi, I'm Rhonda Funk." And he's like, "I know you. I watched you yesterday morning. I laughed so hard I almost fell out of my chair."
Whoa.
Like things like that. And these are hit songwriters that people had been watching me. And so I think over the years, it's become more and more and more where people will say, "I've been watching you for a really long time. I'm really impressed by this." Because I think people watch and they're like, everybody comes out the gate real hot. Like, "Oh, I'm moving to Nashville. Look at me. And here's all this." And then they fizzle out. I've been relentless. I don't fizzle out.
You don't fizzle out.
And
you're
why?
driven.
Yeah. But people do listen way more than you think. If you are a DIY artist like me, more people than you think are watching. They might not say anything. You might not be able to see it, but they see it.
Yes, they do. Yeah,
it's
absolutely,
really big.
they do.
Huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you also talk about, Facebook. You get to the problem with your own Facebook page is you get to that 5,000 limit. So it's real important to have your own music page, isn't it?
Yeah. And on your regular pages, the reason why my regular page is built up is that's just where people had integrated more. And I had kind of turned off my music page for a while, but I started all that, and now I'm like, wow, this page is up to 5,000. But people can still follow you there. They just
Even
can't
though
be
you
your
can't-
friend.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay. So that's important to know. That's say, "Hey, I can't add you as a friend on this, but feel free to hit follow, but also follow my music page." You could do that.
There you go.
But I definitely have more on my personal page than the other. But they really want to see those numbers go up. That's where your interaction happens. But to keep the algorithms going and things, you have to be consistent. So whether you feel like it or not, you need to be making a post every day, and you need to get things in your stories. And I'm not doing it all right, but get something live, put something on here, do a reel. Reels are huge right now.
Yeah, reels are really big right now.
Like I just put one up last week, and it had 1,200 views overnight.
Wow.
And
what was it? Was it a song? Or?
The one was just me getting my guitar back from Breedlove. I had a broken guitar. I'm like, I got my baby back.
My baby back.
Yeah, but the one before that, I did a new song, a new Christian song that I wrote called "Come In," and that song's got almost, I think it said 2,900 or maybe it's 1,900 views or something.
Now, on those reels, you do those on TikTok, or how do those work?
I haven't been, and there's another
Everybody's
place.
saying TikTok.
Everybody is saying TikTok. And I have friends that are saying, like Carvin Walls, they just released a song called Lucky Enough. And I heard somebody say the other night, they said, "We will never not do TikTok ever again," because it blew up. Like they have a whole bunch of hits. Now that song just went completely viral.
How about that? So how does the reels work on Instagram and Facebook? How does that work?
It's funny. I don't know in my head what's the difference. If I just post a video, but something about the reels, it goes into some other cyber thing, and it must get your hashtags on there, do the things. But all of a sudden, just randomly, people are watching, and I mean, I'll watch it like within minutes. It's like there's 10, 20, 100, 200, 300, 500, 600, like that. Overnight, it was just like that.
Is there a special place on Facebook? I know you go Facebook Live, and I know how to do that.
There's a Reels button.
There's a Reel button.
everything's changed now. So if you're looking at your story feed at the top, it says stories. But if you look right to the side there, I'm not looking at the screen. It says reels. So you can look at a whole bunch of people's reels, or you could look at stories, or you can add your own reel. And,
isn't that something? Yeah. Is there a time limit on those? Or you try to keep it short, though, don't you? Yeah.
I think yes on Facebook. I think that's why I had to do a short, like a 30-second clip. But on Instagram, no. I think you can do longer reels on Instagram. I think.
Very cool. I have to try to do that. I'm not the greatest. I was a radio guy.
Well, a darn
I did
good
a little
one.
TV, but not a lot.
See, you should be doing cameras. Like if I were to consult with you right now, I would tell you should have cameras up in this room right here, and this should be being on your YouTube channel. It should be the live feed of you recording the show that everybody's hearing on the podcast, so people can see your artists and see your stuff and see what you're doing. People stinking love that.
We've talked about maybe taking that as a next step.
There's no maybe. You have to do it because some people are visual and some are just audio. Now you have a little TV show, but it's.
But then I can't do this show in my pajamas.
Well, yeah, you're going to have to get dressed next time, Dave.
I have to dress up.
No more boxing.
Okay, all right. I am dressed now, by the way.
Yes, he is.
This is all great advice. It really is. Now, so you do you came from the marketing field, and so you really know how to promote yourself. How about people, I've known artists and songwriters that will hire like a PR firm to help. Feelings on that? I know you do your own.
You know what? If you don't have very much money and let me put it this way. If you don't have the platform right now and you're just hoping to build a platform, don't you dare go out and spend money on a PR company if you don't even have people beg you. Like I was booked 18 months out. I should have hired a PR company. Like I know how to do this stuff. So in my head, I'm thinking, I don't really want to hire somebody because I could do it myself. I'll do it tonight. And then I didn't do it. And then I regretted that I didn't, because I did 300 shows, and I should have been on every radio station across America, or at least been in the newspaper, or had a chance on a morning show or something. Yeah. But if you're not booked way out, don't bother spending money on PRs. Just start building your own thing and start getting consistent and start getting out there.
Talk about that. How do you build a platform? How do you start it out?
You know what? When I first came to town, I couldn't play the guitar at all.
Are you serious?
I couldn't. I knew a couple chords, but I was not good at it.
So everything in the last 4 years or so,
I just make it up. I'm a hacker. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a piano player.
That's crazy.
So but after playing and playing and playing.
Is what that is.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You got to get out there and you got to show up. A lot of people have this attitude, and it is, I'm going to go places and I'm going to ask everybody to give me something. Okay. Mm-hmm. Can I be on your show? Will you put me in here? I deserve to be here. I should be playing here. I should do this. Instead of going and watching and sitting at the feet of people. This is who I am. This is how I've built what I've done. Mm-hmm. I came to this town and I surrounded myself with people I wanted to be like, and I go watch their shows and I sit there. I don't ask to play. I don't ask to write necessarily. I don't do anything. I just want to meet people. I mean, I do eventually when you build relationship, but I didn't go out of relationship, go start asking for things from people. And so number one, I did that. Number two, I started to get my foot in the door wherever I could to do shows. So this is a little catch. This is a little maybe oxymoron from what I just said.
Somebody's at the door. That's all right. They're dropping off. These are new headphones, by the way, that I just ordered.
Oh, wow. That was fast. We need those right now.
I need them right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There is a catch-22 because after building relationships, the one reason why I have gotten where I have is because I asked, because people are gracious in Nashville. So please hear what I'm saying. It's like you don't go in with an attitude of, I deserve this. So give me.
Mark says. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, right,
oh, gosh, that's perfect. Yeah. What you do is you go and you build the relationship enough to be able to say, how do I get there? Ask questions, be a part of stuff, because people will say, it's a 5 and 10 year town. You shouldn't be doing that. You have to do this first, this first, this first. I've been here for 10 years and I didn't get any of that. And I'm like, but I just did that, and I doing that tomorrow. And they just asked me to do that next week. They're like, how'd you get that? And I go, I asked. I don't know. But that to say, there's a little fine line there. It's about attitude and heart is what it is.
I think so, too. And we've said this in the past. I think you've got to be a good hang. That's the best way I can explain.
That's a great way to put it.
Be the kind of person that they want you to see you again. Yes. And they feel they feel like they've known you
Yep.
all your life.
Yep.
They'd want to have a beer with you.
That's right.
You know.
That's right.
That's how you got to be. You can't be me.
That's right.
Hey, Debbie Champion, you should put me on because I'm great.
Yeah. No, bring something to the table.
Bring something to the table.
So get out there. Start playing. Start working hard, and don't stop working hard. And don't do it always with the expectation that you're going to get something out of it. You will probably get nothing out of it.
And that comes right down to what we said before we sat down on this mic.
Right.
You talked about doing it because you had a passion for it.
Yeah. Do it because you love it, and you hope that something happens out of it. But if it doesn't, are you going to stop doing it?
Are you still happy?
Are you still happy?
Yeah.
You know, someone, this is,
Gosh, that's so important,
I don't want to
Rhonda.
get so churchy here, but last week at church, one of the ladies at church stood up and she was talking about her daughter had gotten in a car accident, a really pretty significant car accident, okay? Mm-hmm. And the question was, if that's the call no mama wants to get, right?
Right.
But if I would have had to stand up here today and it was the worst case scenario, that my daughter didn't make it.
Yeah.
Would I still stand up here right now and say, God, you're good?
Oh, boy.
It's the same thing about music.
Wow.
If you don't get a dang thing out of it tomorrow, are you going to quit writing? Are you no longer a songwriter because you didn't get paid to do this and you didn't have a PR agent, you didn't have a manager, and you didn't get to do this fair and festival? Or are you here because you love music and you hope to God you write that one song that changes one person's life? One.
Yeah.
Just one.
Just one. You know, that's such a good point. It really is. Why are you doing it? Figure out why.
Yeah.
And I believe, you talked about God, so I believe we're all given gifts, you know, and you make the best of that gift. And I think you're giving that gift to share.
That's right.
And that's what you're doing. You share. You give it. You give it.
you.
Yeah. That's what I really respect and admire about you.
Thank you.
So thanks for all the great advice. We got to hear a song before we take off. Another one. Rhonda Funk has been our guest. And it's just been remarkable to have you, Rhonda. I feel like we could do like a whole nother hour, so you're going to have to come back sometime.
Oh, now that I wouldn't mind at all. I am enjoying myself. This has been so much fun. All right. Well, I'd like to do a song for my daddy.
Awesome.
Daddy swore he'd never be poor again. Sleeping on the floor of that old tool shed. His daddy worked any job he could get, while his mama raised 9 kids and tried not to lose her head. Now the older kids slept out in the car, in the freezing cold out under the stars, while the little ones slept on the floor of that shed. They didn't even have a pillow for their head. He said, you don't know poor till you're sleeping on that cold dirt floor, till you have so little you don't know there's more. You don't know poor, baby girl, you don't know poor. He said, if you ever feel desperate in life, like things are so hard and they're causing you strife, imagine digging through the garbage for something to eat and feeding the rest to the pigs so they could eat. He said somehow we made it just fine, eating rice and scraps we grew up over time. We even washed our clothes in the river on a grate. I was in high school, that was 68, I was so ashamed. He said, you don't know poor till you're sleeping on that cold dirt floor, till you have so little you don't know there's more. You don't know poor, baby girl. Tears filled my eyes, he asked me, what are you crying for? Haven't I told you that story before? I couldn't even speak, I just shook my head and oh, he looked off in the distance and he simply said, oh. Then suddenly I realized why he had been so tough, why he pushed and pulled and even seemed to be a little rough. He wasn't being mean, he was just being sure that we never lived a life so insecure. 'Cause you don't know poor till you're sleeping on that cold dirt floor, till you have so little you don't know there's more. You don't know poor, and I don't know poor, since he slept on that cold dirt floor. 'Cause he had so little he didn't even know there was such thing as more. I don't know poor, 'cause he knew poor.
Wow. Man, that's going to make me cry. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Is that fairly new?
I wrote that about 5 years ago for my dad.
For your
right
dad.
after his brother died. And it was just a song that came after some conversations. And yeah.
He knew poor.
Yeah.
My goodness, great song.
Thank you.
Rhonda, I enjoyed our conversation.
Thank you. I have really enjoyed today. Thank you, Dave.
Thanks for coming on the show.
I appreciate you.
And thank you for listening. We appreciate it. Catch you next time on the Songwriter Connection.
Thank you for listening to the Songwriter Connection podcast. Find us on social media at Songwriter Connection. Also, listen to Dave Lanahan's Nashville Connections radio show. It streams live every Friday morning on WOBL and WNOI. Look for us on Facebook and YouTube. See you next time on Songwriter Connection.